Hey guys, welcome back. DeFi, degens, drip, and farm for poverty. I'm your host, Drip Coach, dropping knowledge bombs on all Forex Shark related projects. And in today's video, we're going to uncover if this can help us get through the bear market and find a price floor for drip. And what I mean by this, I'm going to cover that in this video and got some confirmation potentially from Ray in the recent video he just did. So before I go into that, I'm going to recap on this one. So I made this video here talking about if drip dies, can it rise again? And I illustrated, ironically, drip was almost 3x less than a month ago. I mentioned how much or how little amount of capital it would take to increase the price floor. And I mentioned that it's something that someone with a large amount of capital could do, and or we could use the pigpen injections with the crowdfunding model. Now, for those of you that are not familiar, this is something Forex has mentioned, but only comes into play with the governance. So a percentage of the yield generated by lending can be used in a crowdfunding model where governance stakers can vote to invest the funds in additional investment opportunities. And he's mentioned that, I believe at one point he said 3 to 5%. And then Ray mentioned in this clip I'm going to play 10%. But he also mentioned that most of the whales or big bag holders are on board. And I think everybody would vote for this because they all want to see drip succeed. But the point is that a portion of the rehypothecated funds can go to supporting drip. So let's first listen to what Ray said in his most recent video, Dogs feature that will pump drip. So let's listen to that.
Farm. And then when we get our PIGG's governance, there's going to be a percentage of allocated funds from these injections. I think it's going to be around 10% that we get to decide as a community what to do with it. And that fund could be more of a degen play. We can decide to say, hey, we want to take that 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, whatever it is, and then allocate it into a degen play. So why not? I think the consensus is pretty clear. I spoke to a couple of whales last night. My guy, shout out to the squad. Spoke to a couple of whales, and I think the consensus is pretty. Everybody agrees for the most part. That what I'm seeing. Big pig holders, they telling me like, yo, Ray, that's most likely gonna be the play. If we could take that 100K, 200K, 300K from that pig pen injection, that 10%, and we can buy back drip and send it to the tax vault. So I think that's
Just a quick message, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. This helps bring brand awareness to the channel as well as all Forex Shark related projects. Thank you. All right, so I had mentioned that on my channel a couple weeks back, and even when Forex was talking about what we could do with the animal farm and injection, stuff like that, even in the video where I mentioned the allocating drip directly to the dog pound or buying dogs using that arbitrage for the drip drip dogs reservoir, dogs drip reservoir, whatever the hell I was calling that, reservoir drip dog, something like that. Anyway, so I've been talking about this for a while now, and it seems as though this could be something that comes up with the governance. Now, the only part I don't have for this, what I'm getting ready to show you guys calculation wise, is the exact amount. I could have swore I recall Forex saying 3% or 5%. I went back and looked at the wiki. I couldn't find it in there. Even looked back at the white paper, couldn't find it in there. He had mentioned it in the in multiple AMAs. So maybe potentially it could be something that is still up for voting. So the percentage could still be up for a vote. So before we get to this, we still have to wait for the UI to be updated and this snapshot governance model be incorporated in the UI, and then voting on the frequency of the injection into the pig pen, and then voting on what other degen plays, as Ray mentioned, that we could get into. But I think the community definitely would support drip, and right now I don't really know of a better place to put capital. You know, of course some of the whales might be in other projects, but you guys have seen multiple projects come and go already. So right now in the bear market, there doesn't really seem to be a better spot. So I would assume the bulk of the community and the people with influence with the most pigs would definitely support this idea. And yeah, why not? So what we need to find out then is what the impact would be, and that's why you guys tune into my channel. So we can look at this drip chart that nobody wants to look at and see that on average, you know, there's been 40,000 volume, And what I mentioned in my other video, in the Phoenix video, in this one, is that the lower drip goes, the less impact it has on the price, because you'll need more and more drip to affect the liquidity. So to get $100 now, you need like 60 drip tokens. Whereas when it was $2, you only needed 50. You know, it goes up and up. It's much higher. So that means the buybacks can have a bigger impact. When we look at the supply, this is an insane amount. We're sitting at 730,000 in the supply. So again, a significant buyback coming in here can affect the price substantially. So we're going to look at exactly what that could be from a yield generation perspective. So remember, on my channel, I showed you guys what is being currently rehypothecated from the cake side. So there's basically a monthly injection right now from the cake. Well, not right now. This is from the old video I made, the data. I did not redo this again, but that was saying basically $10,000 a month. So that's not a lot, of course, but you can see how this can start to add up. Like I mentioned in the video, if we 10x those, the vault, which I think from this video, we have already probably 3 or 4x. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Nah, disregard. Can't find it because I think the bulk of the impact has come from dogs. So anyway, right now that would be 10,000 per month, which is like 1,000 per for that degen play or towards that crowdfunding model. So that's not going to be significant. But what we have that can really be significant coming up is the dogs. Remember, 1/3 of the dog tax will go towards the pig pen. Right? So what I've done here is looked at the amount of dogs as of today. So remember, it takes with a grain of salt. This is going to increase. We're going to get more dogs in the linear, more dogs in the auto compound before we get any sales. People are definitely accumulating dogs at a high clip right now. So what I did is just add up what's currently in the linear, what's currently in the auto. That's 923,000. Then I just rounded this up to $60 because it's easier. Remember, I don't believe anyone's going to sell. I already forecast this on another video where I told you what we can get from dogs, but nobody's going to really sell probably till at least 60%. And right now we're sitting at 30% off if you had got in from day one. So not until the end of December. So I definitely see this going up and this going up before the end of December. That only makes sense. Now, once that happens, there will be some sales, and that's good because again, 1/3 of those sales go to the pig pen. So I took this amount, and then I was saying, what happens if 80% of people sell their dogs with the 10% tax? So that would be around January 4th time frame, roughly. No, 60 days plus, that'd be towards the end of January, right? So end of January, they would have only 10% tax left on their dogs. And if 80% of them sold, that's what this is, times 10%, we would have 4.4 million. And then of that, 1.4 million would be sent to the pig pen, right? So then I just went ahead and extrapolated that out on different percentages just to see what that would look like. So if only 70% sold, or 60% sold, 50%, 40%, 30%, right? So this is all the way till, again, near the end of January to get this tax reduction. So we still have some pain coming, but at least just give you a little bit of hopium of what can potentially happen, right? So here's the numbers based on the number of people selling their dogs. But again, remember, this will be higher and this will be higher as well, because nobody's going to sell until we get to that smaller amount of tax, which just means the dog token is going to go up and more dogs available to sell, right? All right, so I took the average of that after all that. So this is just from the dog sales. I'm not counting the rehypothecated cake because right now that's a drop in the bucket. It's not really doing much. Plus, we could also have the single asset pools being loaned somewhere, and that could be some capital. So hopefully this is the low end, and that would be great that we could see come again around the end of January. Now, here's the part I want to get to in regards to how much money could be used for drip buybacks. Now, remember, I thought I heard Forex mention 3 to 5%. Ray just said in his video that I played for you guys 10%. So I decided again to look at the different amounts. Hopefully this is up for vote and we could get a larger percentage because drip feeds the ecosystem. So I think people would be willing to support the drip bag with, at least 10%. Hopefully that's the case. Now let's find out what this does for a buyback. So as of right now, this is not the right date, but it is the right price. Right now, the drip price is about $1.60. We have 731K in the circulating drip supply. BNB is about $301, and that's our balance, and that comes out to that amount, and then that's the price, right? Could definitely be, will not be this exact price when you see this video. All right, so what would happen if we were able to get this buyback? Now, first, we need to go ahead and also take a look at what's in the rewards vault. So remember, that's what's paid out to the Pigpen stakers. So from what I can see from the one rewards vault, I don't know where the dividends from the cake side is. So anyone that can give me that wallet or contract, that would be great. I can only see what's here in the actual reward wallet. So I'm only seeing 2.1 million, but I know the cake is actually sold immediately. And I don't know if it's injected back in here immediately, or if it's sitting somewhere else, or if it's accumulated differently. Yeah, I can't find that right now. So we're just going to use this 2 million because that is also on average what Forex was injecting in here. We had about 2 million. So I'm going to assume about a 2 million injection going forward to make these projections. Well, not 2 million the entire time, but either 2 million to 1 million. So we're going to take that 10%. And we look at that, that's what I'm getting here. So if it was a 2 million injection, we would have $200,000 to spend. If it's a $1 million injection, which is about what this would be, remember, to the Pigpen, that's what I said, this would be the average. So this is definitely a sustainable future model, but potentially from the 2 million sitting in the vault right now, we could get 200,000. So that's why I have that sitting in here for the initial. So what that means is if we got that 200,000 and bought drip all in one fell swoop and sent it to the tax vault, we would have purchased 124,000 drip. As you see, we've definitely been selling out of that. So that would only create a short-term price appreciation, but that extends the runway. That helps us for sure. And that will create that arbitrage opportunity on the pancake swap and maybe cause a little more FOMO. We saw 121,000 drip added to the tax vault around the 24th. Well, actually, no, what was the actual amount? There was a large injection that came into the tax vault at one time, and I don't remember what it was. But either way, the point I'm getting at is that that's not going to last forever, but you can see about how long it has lasted based on this Telegram drip Faucet vault stats. So that 121K on the 24th is basically lasted, a good 7 to 10 days with the existing sell pressure. So it does definitely cause some stability, at least in the minting side. So that is positive in the short term. And remember, this is something that can be repeated pretty much monthly. So anyway, we would have that buyback, 124,000 drip. The supply would be decreased, and that could pump the price up to $2.26. If it was only 100,000, that'd be $1.90. Now, again, I know this is not like significant gains, but you see how this can start to become something if we continue to extrapolate this out, which is exactly what I did here. Let's wait for the next one. So obviously, this will not stay the same. There's no way that by the next time we get an injection, drip would still be flatlined at 220, and then this buyback would have that effect based off of that price. But again, just wanted to show you what could happen. So let's just say the 200,000 got us to 226. Maybe some FOMO kicked in. We went up to 270, but then by the next buyback, we got back down to 226. Traded sideways around 226 somehow, right? Whatever the case may be. So then there's another 100,000, and again, that is sustainable 100,000 because it'll be another 30 days where the people who have been accumulating dog tokens will now have probably another potential amount of people closer to another set of people that have that 10% tax or something like that. Remember, this is accumulated, so it's not going to all happen at once, but I definitely could see $100,000 a month being available just from the dogs token, and based off of having a $1 million a month Pigpen injection. So that $1 million Pigpen injection coming from rehypothecated funds on the single asset as well as the farms, and coming from the dog sales. I think that's feasible. So this, I feel, is a lowball number because, again, this is also going to go up by the time that happens. So we're saying $100,000, right? So that would, at BNB prices of today, again, take it with a grain of salt because it won't stay there. But that would allow us to buy another 44,000 drip, reducing the supply again, and take drip up another 40 cents or so. So that's the second time. And then here would be the third time. We're now at $3. So again, this is speculative, just like the video I made about drip going to 10 cents. Ironically, people only want to see this kind of video. They're both the same. You need to look at both sides. You can't just throw out false hopium without looking at what potential negative side effects can come into play as well, so people have objectionable data to make their analysis off of. So I could see this playing out very well, giving us a little bit of stability. And again, this adds or it extends the runway for the other utilities being added to drip. So drip at these prices is not the end of the world, because it allows for a lot more drip to be purchased with the sustainable models that Forex has built in. And when we get to Scratchy, we get to the borrow and lending, we get to the drip layer 2, we definitely will have a springboard to jump off of. Now, again, I don't see drip doing anything amazing in the short term until those other utilities get built in. But at least with these, the buybacks I just mentioned, you could see drip maybe slowly start to crawl out or trade sideways or find a much more sustainable floor. So far, we thought we found a floor, and then we just break right through it every single time. We're like, oh, there's the floor, and it's not the case. But I think with this, it actually allows us to kind of establish a floor, because there will be an amount of capital coming in that's not dependent on existing investors or from bringing in new people. So it's money from the system that comes from actual utility, because it's buybacks from rehypothecated funds and taxes. And that eventually, when this cycle continues, can offset the sell pressure to enough where it kind of flatlines drip. Will that be $2 even, $2.25, $3, $1.50? I don't know, but that is a little bit of hopium, objective reality hopium that I can see coming in the future. That will do it for this video. And if you stuck around this long, congratulations, you're getting the word scavenger hunt word number 2, and the word is hopium. Hopium. Hopium, something like that. Hopium. It's not even a real word, but it's great for crypto and degens, right? So anyway, for those of you not familiar, twice a month do a scavenger hunt. Basically, you got to follow my content, keep your notifications on so you know when I drop a video, and then randomly in a video I will mention a word. Your job is to collect all those words, and then when I make the announcement, put all those words in the comments with your drip address and get loaded with drip. So that's it for this one. You guys know the drill. If it provided value, if you like this kind of content, if you like objectionable data to make your decisions and secure your financial freedom, smash that HBO special, help a brother out by liking, subscribing, commenting down below. And until next time, live daily and achieve your impossible. See you.